Osaye sitting MP Emma Wejak Bawe constituency. Jerry Ahmed Shaib Ewo Ahumano so. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning, Patron. I'm going to say.
And I paid you who are the chain who are pan bacho say o constituency ni BBI fine.
Adom be on.
Now say me who said me from say we are newly elected president and I say me say former president to say me who have made describe him but me describe was say.
Oh, first of all, say Mayor President of the Ghana Weightlifting Federation.
Yes.
Yeah, we had the opportunity of having an election on Friday. And the election, the issue made a declaration. But you see, what people have not even understood, say, our constitution states clearly, I think if you look at 1423, talks about our tenure. Tenure, not what I say, it is 4-year term. Until every 4 years now, there is the need for us to have an election.
Yeah.
But the election is supposed to be run by Congress. Until whatever happens before an election is critical before Congress takes a decision. Say this is what we have decided. Say election date. I think we had one scheduled earlier. What we had scheduled, I think I have to check the date. I think it's either 18th or 21st of March.
March, yeah.
Yes. And when we were at the process, we were almost at the beginning of the election. And then we had more than 80 masked soldiers with wielding guns. Now,
soldiers?
Soldiers, yes, from national security. Because, to the extent, my gym manager was even arrested.
Wow.
So they kept him there till an adjourn. 80 masked soldiers. So much, they all had their faces covered with guns. And then I'm sure there are people with videos, so I'll check. And then there were some party, obviously, then DC T-shirt guys. Kuko Modiaba, no Moshi Jama or and so the elections couldn't come on. And their reason was that there had been a certain injunction served on us. Namine witness. At that point, nobody has served me with any injunction. Nobody has served any of my board members with any injunction. But we decided not to go ahead with the election because of the incident. So the elections was called off. That election was called off. Now, subsequently, as the election was called off, we went to court because now we actually chased for the process. Then I could do process.
Yeah.
We must see your master be injunction by some kind. Now, then I had to man asking there. Oh, injunction, I would say, I would be court, and you couldn't see your court. And we were able to get the bailiff because we checked who the bailiff was, and I am home bailiff, and I had order court processes no one help.
Oh, okay.
Until we got a lawyer to file a notice of appearance and or file applications and also set aside the writ of summons, including the injunction.
Okay.
And the court granted a sale. And then the next thing was to go ahead with this election. Then the National Sports Authority, we scheduled another date. Then the National Sports Authority wrote to us. I think then it was Madame Veronica Komi, the Deputy Director
General.
Yes. In fact, when I had the letter, I first of all said, but out of respect, and I shared with my board, and my board said, say they are partners in sports now, with the Yankotium. Until we went there, I went with my current Secretary General, and then my former Secretary General, and then my Treasurer. To acquire, and then there were other opposing people. Obviously, they had come there to raise some issues. One of the issues, they were challenging the delegates list.
Okay.
And they were also saying that my tenure had ended. And I tried to school them or educate them on the fact, say, every federation, who tenure be end there, unless and until an election has been done. And it is at that election that
you hand over.
all the previous board members or all the board members will now say that there will be a dissolution of the board at that Congress, and therefore that is when they will no longer be holding the position. But as far as, and if you look at the Constitution, as I'm saying, 1423, of the Ghana Weightlifting Federation, that is exactly expressly, that is what it says. Indeed, first of all, we are still a board, a president or a board chair, and then executive board members until an election has been held and a declaration has been made. So whoever wins now takes over. That is how the law agrees to it. And that was exactly what the court dealt with. The court set aside their right because the court said that there was no reason or sense in whatever they had posted or they had come to the court to deal with. So we met, going forward, we met Madam Veronica Comey. I mean, obviously, at the first instance, I'm sure because of some of what can't, in law, there is all the author and pattern. If you haven't heard the other side, you are sometimes minded to go to a certain level to believe Neman Kofonoka.
Yeah.
And I took her through. In fact, she said, there had been a correspondence from my West Africa board or federation, which is the Weightlifting Federation of Africa. Sorry, not West Africa, Africa, sorry. There had been a correspondence from the Weightlifting Federation of Africa. And I said, I'm unaware of that because you never write a letter without recourse
to the NSA, without recourse to the local federation.
Yes, but if whatever it is. So when I perused, then I saw that no, it was a personal conversation between one guy, dispatch rider. I used him over the period, and I used him largely. I think he's been able to connect with the people, so he sent a message and they responded. But be that as that may be, we are here. Let's see to the resolution of the problem. The first issue they raised was our tenure, so I got that explained to them, and they understood it, I believe. Then the second issue they raised was the delegates list. And I said that is also captured in the Constitution. The Constitution tells you who delegates are. The delegates are my executive board and Liska, who is also already on the board, the technical or officiating official, and then a coach, and then regional representatives. To be honest, we do not have currently regional representatives.
Okay.
So you are not going to get anybody to come from the regional representatives. So in clarity, delegates are not going to be more than 14.
Okay.
So this was it. And then back and forth, we went on with the conversation, and they said, okay, some of the things would have to be reviewed. I said, I don't have a problem. First of all, I am looking at how to get a resolution to this matter. How election. There is a winner, there is a loser, and then we are moving forward. Okay, we are bringing some people to come and join the Electoral Commission. Mind you, the Electoral Commission was already formed by Congress. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission is this very solid person, our friend now Dufule Naughty. I'm sure they won't name the lawyer. Yeah. She was the one who conducted the 2021 GOC elections, which has not been challenged anyway. Second, the Secretary General of Swimming, your friend, honestly, a lawyer, your friend Muniru. Muniru, I don't know his surname, but
Kasim Muniru.
Yes, so Kasim Muniru, thank you very much. Thank you. And then the third person from NSA, your friend Papa Asante. So these were the people that were already there. So what it means is that NSA had a representative and then two other independent people. Now the conversation was to add another two people from NSA, and I said I'm not opposed to it. So I just said, NSA, the Director General to ask people that they want them to be part of the elections committee. I'm not. I mean, what I want is peace of mind, fairness, and whatever. Until they agreed and they put 2 people. In fact, I hear they even changed the Papa Asante. So they brought in 3 new people. As I speak with you, I never met the 2 other new people, apart from the lawyer of NSA, our friend Doji, because he's a lawyer. I know him. So he was the only person I had the opportunity of having a conversation with. So Doji was the one who went to the extent of meeting with the other 2, which is now Odofule Norte and Kasim Muniru. In fact, Muniru declined joining this commission because, according to him, it is unlawful. It is not for NSA to be a part of this conversation.
Yeah.
And that every activity they are doing amounted to interference. So he did not join any meeting of the NSA's new committee. So we had everything done and prepared for. I do not know anything they were doing until I think on a Wednesday or Tuesday, there was a letter sent with a delegates list. And the delegates list now have been trimmed to 12. And their argument is that my deputy secretary general and my deputy treasurer then constitutionally do not have any right to vote.
Okay.
So they were not going to let them vote. They had also made a decision that there were 3 coaches. There is one coach, Abuchi, who is also, fortunately, the one representing referees and officiating officials. He's the only one with license to do referee and official. So he is the one automatically. So he is going as officiating officials. And then the 2 coaches now are Kano. There was one that we had given him an appointment, but they didn't do that an appointment. I heard that they said they were going to do a ballot. So the 2 coaches, they will be winning ballot. So they, amongst themselves as a committee, I think, did a ballot until they all winning, And then they made him the representative to vote on behalf of coaches. They shared all these listers, went ahead. There is a whole email. You have a list of about 16 people or 18 people that received these emails, including those who are contesting. So everybody gets to have all of these things. Now, the day before the elections, then I saw that there were some people who raised issues. One said that why are we having it virtual? And then the other also said, why is there no athlete to vote? Obviously, first of all, why are we having it virtual? You know the reason. The reason is that the last time we tried to have it physical, people came with military people to disrupt the elections. Second, I just came from Weightlifting Federation Africa conference in Mauritius. About 85% of the people that voted virtually because, first of all, they didn't even have money to travel to Mauritius to vote, or they were engaged somehow. Second, third, in Ghana, we had noticed that the delegates who were going to vote were only 12. And the 12 delegates were also thinking that we would not want to go to a place because we have had a lot of threats. The way to do it is to just allow for virtual meetings. And these have been agreed upon by Congress when your friend is saying Electoral Commission noticed by. And you know who designed everything? It was the NSA that designed everything. All the conversations were even led by the NSA lawyer. Into all the issues that were raised by those who were opposing some of the things were all addressed by the NSA lawyer. I only woke up at dawn around 1:30 a.m. So, and I saw a mail that had come from my brother, and I thought that, unfortunately, then he does not understand his mandate. So we should hold the elections. I'm thinking, you have been, I know beach soccer is part of your friend is GWF.
Yeah.
But he has been president of beach soccer since 2009. I hear because it's part of GWF, perhaps they do not have a constitution. But we have a constitution. The Ghana Weightlifting Federation has a constitution. It is not NSA that has any interest in conducting an election. It is not NSA that would wake up in a day can he go and write to GFA and tell Ketokweku that you cannot have an election when Congress of GFA have agreed that there's going to be an election? So I think the Electoral Commission ignored all of that respectfully. And then they went ahead and they shared the Google forms or Google meeting forms that were designed by the NSC lawyer and members of the committee that are approved, shared to all the members, shared to all the contestants. Started the election. I was made to have a resolution and then also give my remarks. We finished. And then voting started, I think, exactly 9 o'clock. By 9:30, 9:35, I think they had finished. Elections were declared by, first of all, it was now the Fule who said voting had finished and everything had gone well. Out of 12 people who were supposed to have been 10 that voted because 2 people did not vote. I lost touch with my voting, so I think because I couldn't use my phone at the time. I may set it up. When I set up and I was done and everything, I think I made a mistake. So I don't know who did, but instead of 10 votes, 9 people voted and they declared the results. And we have then proceeded to get reports sent to Africa. There was a representative from Africa, the president of Weightlifting Nigeria, Dr. Ibrahim, was on. He has also, I'm sure, I don't know if he's done with his report, he sent it. There was a representative from the Ghana Olympics Committee, who is the third vice president, Mr. Ernest Danso, because we wrote letters to all of these people. So Weightlifting Federation Africa nominated someone, responded to our letter. So we gave all of that to the Electoral Commission. And then, by God's grace, we went through the process and I was voted for, and I'm the president of Ghana Weightlifting Federation.
My question is better, maybe so. Don't you think the Director General of the NSA and yet to me to write to you to either annul the elections or whatever because they already exist in the electoral committee and until as a move with him right to insist on the right things being done?
Oh no. Everything we did only out of respect. So what I say. And just right. The only time I can say I waived my right was when I allowed an opponent to come and contest when the person under our constitution does not even qualify to contest, or those other people that are contested, they do not qualify to contest. If you look at our constitution, it tells you who gets to contest. So what I say.
Mm-hmm.
And that person should have been a part of the family, weightlifting family, within a certain period of time and all of that. That is the only time that I can tell you on authority that I wanting people to know that, first of all, I'm not afraid of an election. And second, whoever comes in, I mean, I have been with my board. At least the board has at least 7 to 8 votes. It is only one person I'm not too sure that they have voted for me on the board, because he perhaps is supporting this person and even decided to go to court. But besides that, I think that I have the full support of my board and I was not worried about anybody who was coming in to contest. So I say,
yeah.
If we gave you an opportunity to be a part of us, and then you were the same person that shared the Google everything, and we had gone ahead with everyone, and everybody had been ready to vote, and then everything had been set, and then now you write a letter at dawn to say, no, you don't have that right. You don't have that capacity, respectfully.
But based on what narration of my HS, even the Electoral Commission, the NSA had quite a number of people on there, and the person who shared the Google form is also a member of the NSA. Why would the Director General then go ahead to write a letter to you when his people have indeed confirmed the election?
Really, and I can share with you all of this. In fact, if I were in the studio, I would have even given you my phone to check the emails, or even the laptop to check. I am not too sure he understands respectfully what is happening, or he has become too partisan that he doesn't even know what. That, first of all, my elections and that of my board members, it's not an appointive position. It is not a partisan position. So don't go and bring a party person and be insisting that the party person should be the president of a federation. A major problem. And that is why I give that respect. I give so much respect to the Minister of Sports. Because in all of this, he's shown that I'm in parliament with the minister. The minister belongs to a party that I am not a member of. But the minister respects the very virtues of sports and sports administration. The minister understands that wherever you are, whether you are beach soccer or Ghana Football Association or Tennis Association or Weightlifting Federation, you have a constitution. It's the constitution that directs you to run elections. How do you come in as an observer and then that makes you think that you have powers over my federation? No. I got you to be an observer, and the observation is really for you to understand that I am not doing anything untoward. The Electoral Commission is not doing anything untoward. Nobody is doing anything in a kululu manner. Obi also say a person on call election on joining on Shem. Oh, come, let's go. Let's go through. I'm not going to ask that anybody should be disqualified, because that is one of the major problems I have with the board. That we shouldn't have allowed any of those people who are not qualified. But if you are talking about waiving of rights, that is where I think you come in. You know what I say? Yes. But besides that, there is no federation now of the CASE NSC has capacity to conduct their elections. None. You can't say that. Can you say that GFA would allow NSC to come and even join, or even if you are an observer, fine, they respect you, or they have given you some recognition. Say the Accra Sports Stadium, or NSC we should allow NSC to be part. I, together with board members, agreed that okay, let's do this for them to understand that there is nothing to lose. But it was the same board that got very mad at the certain letter that is purported to have come from there. Because even if you are writing that letter, I expect that letter to have been on letterhead.
Okay.
So it is just an individual's shenanigans. Or nothing in office now, say the person is political.
But would you say or political undertones?
Oh, obviously. And I said,
what catch say politics?
Oh, yes. My question is, if you look at the IOC charter and you are not careful, you will stand the chance of getting Ghana banned. Because you see, first of all, they call election, and that was around 21st. And you have a lot of military people to the extent arresting my gym manager. I got him released around 8 p.m. And the records are there. You can go and check with National Security. The Venerable Rashid is there. They arrested him and got about 80 military. Now, what is it? And then the excuse was that they were there to execute an injunction when nobody had been served with an injunction. And then you also ask yourself, when did national service become a part of execution of an injunction order? Assuming without admitting, say, truly, now injunction order for work. And then you have brought people, and your people have even been a part of the conversation throughout. And they know that maybe on the Fabiano, or the far form, or the fast, so they are not, there's no way. So what they are saying. So wherever they will pass, they knew that I was really going to beat them. So now, if it was going to be virtual, if it was going to be physical, they were going to do this person has won. Nobody is going to give you that opportunity. Nobody. Please, people should be advised. We have a brighter future with our sports. It doesn't have to be political. I have very political people on my board. They have never done things to show that this is even where they belong to. Political. I'm an MPP activist, but yes, very political people on my board. My former Secretary General, Benadi, he was very close to President Rawlings. He's one of his aides. TT Brothers, everybody knows where he supports, where he's been. And several of them, some of my coaches, even if you go on their DP right now, you see their status. It is NDC stuff. So Don't come and spoil the sport for us with your politics. Don't. The moment you do that, you would mess up the sport.
He say he's inviting you to a meeting. China, what will be the way forward between Mo and you or
At
the
this
NSA?
point, he has shown so much of his political face. And with all due respect to him, he has been very, very restrained in making very harsh comments. I do not think that he deserves my attention. I don't think so. I think that we have moved on as a board. We've shared a report with Weightlifting Federation Africa, we've shared with Weightlifting International. It is up to them. And whatever it is, we are moving on. We're having board meetings on Tuesday. We are going to go ahead and have issues to deal with. We have more pressing matters to deal with. We are going to go on and deal with. I do not think that at this point I'm attending any meeting. I don't.
And any idea when board members in the committee?
Oh, no.
But as a federation, so what mean NSA no so kunto kwa mo license some of the mamo and how are you going to resolve the relationship?
Oh,
Mo Jim Crower Crash Sports Stadium, how are you going to deal with all this?
Yes, which is good. Not only Americans now what is that NSA my one city to Ghana. Me since I became weightlifting president, even when NPP, my party was even in government, nobody gave me one city from NSA. Nobody. The gym you saw there was constructed originally by President Nunu Mensah and some people that claim they supported. So I say, I came in when there was nothing in the gym and I refixed the gym or refurbished the gym. So I say,
yeah,
the equipment I buy, there was an issue of demurrage close to 3 months. Equipment no guys will be we had to change the person to pay monies to return. If I paid close to 200,000 series to even get equipment cleared. Apart from demurrage payment. See, nobody is fighting NSA. There have been under conversations that I don't intend to. But I've had people call me from NSA to congratulate me. I've had the president of Ghana Olympics Committee to call me to congratulate me. I've had my president of Weightlifting Federation of Africa to call me, and then my secretary general to congratulate me. In fact, I've even had a video call from my international weightlifting president to call me to congratulate me. That is good. Nobody wants to fight with NSA. I don't intend to. But I also don't intend to get them to think that they can interfere in the affairs of weightlifting. They have some partnership and a supervisory arrangement. Say, oh, hey, yeah, but you are not the one to, first of all, conduct elections and interfere in our elections. No. So when we have those issues, then there is a need for all of us to back out and now talk as brothers and sisters and see how best we can have a very united front. But if it goes on like that, unfortunately, then it means that there is unnecessary intervention and then there will be problems.
But have you had cause to, inform the minister in charge of sports on this?
Oh, I am sure that I would. I met the minister before he traveled to Tanzania. And the minister assured me, I've told you, the minister has shown a lot of maturity and professionalism. And he's shown that he's more of, although he's a politician, his politics is when he has to do the politics and not with sports. So I have a lot of belief in him and hoping that, yes, he will be the father figure to see that things are properly mended for us to go forward. I spoke to him before. I met him. I went to the office, met him before he went to Tanzania. Here he's back. I have not had a meeting with him, but I'm hopeful that I'll do that within the week.
Very well. We would monitor the situation and be able to be able to
sure.